What's up guys, it's DarkArmedDuelist and I'm going to be doing an Elemental Hero deck profile. So I'm really excited to for you guys because this deck is an extremely nostalgic deck that uses a bunch of the old school Elemental Hero monsters to make some really nostalgic boss monsters, even using the cards from Power of the Elements like Elemental Hero Shining Neos Wingman, which is an absolutely amazing card. So without further ado guys, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell in there so you can become part of the notification squad, and definitely check out the Patreon down in the description below for all those awesome rewards, like getting your name skipped for a single video, getting his signed cards in the mail, and even getting to request a deck profile every single month you're a patron. So without further ado, let's get straight on into this. So first off, for our vanilla Elemental Heroes, we're going to be playing a single copy of Elemental Hero Avion, which is a really old school nostalgic monster. We're going to be playing a single copy of Bursenatrix, one copy of Sparkman, and a copy of Clayman. So we're playing all of these at one each because it's super easy to use these cards to be able to fusion summon into some extremely powerful fusion monsters like Elemental Hero Flame Wingman or even Elemental Hero Thunder Giant, which we're actually playing in the extra deck because it's just such a nostalgic card. And you can actually use them with Infernal Devicer to be able to add these cards from deck to hand, which is super helpful. I'm then playing a single copy of Elemental Hero Bubbleman, which is actually a really good card in this deck because it has a really awesome effect. If this is the only card in your hand, you can just special summon this card to your field, and when this card is summoned, you can draw two cards if there are no other cards on your side of the field or in your hand, which can come up every so often in the deck, and it's just super nostalgic to be able to play all 5 of the original Elemental Heroes. We then play a single copy of Elemental Hero Neos because it wouldn't be super nostalgic without Jaden's ace monster, Elemental Hero Neos, which is just so cool to be able to play in the deck, so we can actually go into Shining Neos Wingman. I then play, for some of the newer cards, we're going to be playing a single copy of Elemental Hero Spirit of Neos. Spirit of Neos is actually a really easy way to get out our copy of Neos to our side of the field, and it's just a really awesome card that can actually search a bunch of cards in the deck, but you only really need a single copy of this card. But this card has an awesome effect that when your opponent's monster declares an attack, you can special summon this card from your hand defense position, and if you do, it cannot be destroyed by battle. And if this card is special summoned, you can add from your deck to your hand a polymerization or a spell or trap card that mentions an Elemental Hero monster in its name, which is a really awesome effect to be able to grab any of those cards that you need directly from your deck to your hand. And during your main phase, you can shuffle this card into your deck, and if you do, you get to special summon a Elemental Hero normal monster from your deck, which can be any of the original Elemental Hero vanilla monsters or Neos, but we're usually summoning Neos off this effect. We then play 3 copies of Elemental Hero Stratos. Stratos is a great 3 of in the deck that you really want to play as a 3 of because it's the best normal summon, because when it's summoned to your side of the field, you get to add a hero monster from your deck to your hand, which is a crazy powerful effect. And then play 2 copies of Elemental Hero Shadow Mist. This card is a great 2 of in the deck. It's just a really good card overall because it has the ability, if it's special summon, you get to add a change quick play spell from your deck to your hand, and if this card is sent to the grave, you can add a hero monster from your deck to your hand as well, which is a really good effect, except another copy of itself. We then play just a single copy of Elemental Hero Liquid Soldier. Liquid Soldier is a great 1 of that when it's normal summon, you can target a level 4 or lower hero monster in your graveyard and special summon it back to the field. And if this card is used for the fusion summon of a hero monster and sent to the grave or banished, you get to draw 2 cards and then discard a card, which comes in handy all the time to be able to draw additional cards, especially when you make your copy of Absolute Zero, using this card to be able to draw 2 and discard a card. I then play just a single copy of Elemental Hero Honest Neos because it does give us 2,500 extra attack points when one of our hero monsters battles, which is a really good effect. I play a single copy of Vision Hero Vion, which is the only hero monster I'm playing in the deck that is not an Elemental Hero monster, and it has a really neat effect that if this card is normal or special summon, you get to send a hero monster from your deck to the grave, and you can only use the effect of this card once per turn. It also has the ability once per turn you can manage a hero monster from the grave to add a polymerization from your deck to your hand, but it's just too good to be able to use with your copy of Shadow Mist not to play this card as at least a 1 of, so that when you special summon off your copy of Elemental Hero Stratos off your copy of A Hero Lives, you can then search this and use this as your normal summon to then send Shadow Mist and get yourself a search and a polymerization, which is really good. And then play 3 copies of Crosskeeper. Crosskeeper is a really good tech card in the deck because it just helps out the deck so much that you can send this card from your hand or field to the grave to special summon an Elemental Hero or a Neospatian monster from your hand or graveyard to your side of the field, but but if it's summoned from the graveyard, you negate its effects. And if this card, or if you special summon an elemental hero fusion monster while this card's in the graveyard, then you can banish this card and draw 2 cards and place 1 card from your hand on the bottom of your deck, which can really help you fix your hand so you can go into more fusion plays. I then play 3 copies of King of the Swamp. King of the Swamp is a great 3-of in the deck that helps out so much with so many different plays, because it can be a substitute for any fusion material that's listed on a fusion monster, which is just so helpful in the deck. And you can also discard this card from your hand to the grave to be able to add polymerization from your deck to your hand, which is a really powerful effect to get the exact cards that you need when you need them. So that's it for the monsters, guys. Let's get into the spells. So for the spells, we're going to be playing a single copy of Reinforcements of the Army. This card is a really good one of the deck to be able to search any of your hero monsters that you need that are level 4 or lower. We then play a single copy of Miracle Fusion. Miracle Fusion is searchable off of Sunriser, which is why I'm playing this card as a 1-of, and it'll let you fusion summon an elemental hero fusion monster from your extract by banishing the fusion materials listed on it from your field or graveyard, which is a crazy powerful effect. And just for the nostalgic factor, we're playing a single copy of Skyscraper, which actually does come in handy in the deck, and it's just so cool to play such a nostalgic field spell that actually comes in handy in this deck, because has the ability that when a monster that includes elemental hero and its card name attacks a monster with higher attack, that it boosts that monster that you're battling with, or the monster that you're attacking with, which is your elemental hero, up by 1,000 attack points, which is pretty good, especially if you're attacking with a low attack point hero monster into a higher attack point monster. We then play 2 copies of Favorite Hero, which is why I'm actually playing Skyscraper as a 1-of in the deck, and this card comes in extremely handy to make your monsters absolutely massive. This card is the ability you can equip only to a level 5 or higher hero monster, and if you control a card in your field spell zone, the equipped monster gains attack equal to its original defense, and also your opponent cannot target it with card effects, and at the start of the battle phase you can activate a field spell directly from your hand or deck, and you can only use the effect of this card once per turn. And when the equipped monster attacks and destroys a monster by battle and sends it to the graveyard by attacking, you can send this card to the graveyard and the attacking monster can make a second attack in a row, which is a really good effect that it gives it a double attack, an attack boost, and it can instantly put Skyscraper on your side of the field, which is a really cool effect. I then play 2 copies of Instant Contact. Instant Contact is really good to get your copy of Flame Wingman on your side of the field so you can go in for your copy of Shining Neo Swingman. It's just a really good card because you can just pay 1,000 life points to special summon out a level 7 or lower elemental hero or Neospatian monster from your extra deck, which is a really good effect. But if you don't have elemental or Neos on your side of the field, it negates its effects, and neither player or in your graveyard, the special monster cannot attack and its effects are negated, which is not that big of a deal because we're just using it for fusion material anyways in this build. I'm then playing 2 copies of Mass Change. Mass Change is really good because we do play a couple of masked heroes in the deck, because it just works really well with our copies of Shadow Mist to be able to search this card from the deck, because if you get your copy of Shadow Mist in the hand and you use your copy of Crosskeeper to send it to the graveyard, you can special summon it out to your side of the field and then search this card from the deck, essentially turning one of your monsters into a copy of Dark Law or a copy of Acid, which is really good. I then play 3 copies of Polymerization. Polymerization is just really good in the deck because basically any 2 cards in this deck equal a fusion play, which is really cool about this deck. So I wanted to play this card as a 3-of because you can get it with King of the Swamp, you can get it with your copy of your Spirit of Neos, and there's just so many cards in the deck that this card works with, so it's a definite 3-of in this build. We then play 3 copies of Emergency Call. Emergency Call is so good in this deck because it lets you add any elemental hero monster from your deck to your hand, and it is not a once per turn, so you can get any of the fusion materials that you need from your deck to your hand, or a card like Stratos to then get yourself another search, which is really good. I then play 3 copies of A Hero Lives. A Hero Lives is really, really insane. It basically works like Unexpected Die, that if you don't control a monster, you can pay half your life points and then special summon a level 4 or lower elemental hero monster from your deck to your side of the field, which is really good to immediately get Stratos on your side of the field and then give yourself a search, which is really good because the majority of the time what you're searching is your copy of Vion to then normal summon Vion, send Shadow Mist, and search an additional hero, then banish the Shadow Mist to be able to add a copy of Polymerization from your deck to your hand off the effect of your Vion, which is really good because it already gets you 2 hero monsters on your side of the field and a Polymerization in the hand, which is really insane. So that's it for the spells, guys. Let's get into the traps. So for the traps, we're just going to be playing a single trap in this deck, and it's going to be a single copy of Favorite Contact. Favorite Contact is a really good trap card that lets you special summon a fusion monster from your X deck that mentions a hero monster as material, ignoring its summon conditions by placing the fusion materials mentioned on it on the bottom of the deck in any order, from among cards on your hand, field, graveyard, or that are banished cards. And if you place an Elemental or Neos into the deck, neither player can return that monster special by this effect to the X deck, which basically bypasses Neos fusion monsters from returning back to the X deck, which is really good. But this card is a definite one-of in this build because you can just set it to your side of the field and recycle some of your cards while also getting a really big boss monster on your side of the field. So that's it for the main deck, guys. Let's get into the extra deck. So for the extra deck, we're going to be playing a bunch of nostalgic cards. So let's go ahead and get straight on into it. So first off, we're going to be playing a single copy of Elemental Hero Shining Neos Wingman. This card is absolutely crazy, and definitely give us a like for having the mat for the boss monster of the deck. This card is crazy powerful. It does take a Neos plus a Wingman fusion monster, and it must be special summoned or must be fusion summoned, and it gains 300 attack points for each monster in your graveyard, and also cannot be destroyed by card effects. And if this card is special summoned, then you can destroy cards your opponent controls up to the number of different attributes among the monsters on the field, which is a crazy awesome fact that this card is going to be able to pop cards on the field to help you go in for game, and it gets absolutely massive. And if this card destroys a monster by battle, then you inflict damage to your opponent equal to that monster's original attack points, which is going to be quite a lot of damage, especially if this card attacks into attack position monster. I then play a single copy of Elemental Hero Shining Flare Wingman. This card is just super nostalgic and actually the inspiration for Shining Neos Wingman, which is really cool because it's like a mixture between this card and your copy of Elemental or Neos to make your copy of Shining Neos Wingman. This card is really an old school nostalgic card, and it gains your attack for each Elemental card in your graveyard. And if this card destroys a monster by battle and sends it to the grave, you inflict damage to your opponent equal to that monster's original attack in the grave. The really cool thing is you can actually Miracle Fusion this card out if you have a copy of either Elemental or Flame Wingman or Sparkman with Miracle Fusion and a copy of King of the Swamp in the graveyard. You can use the King of the Swamp as the material you don't have, and a copy of either Sparkman or Wingman as the material you do have to be able to fusion summon into this card, which is really awesome. I then play a single copy of Flame Wingman. Flame Wingman is super easy to be able to summon in the deck, and just a really cool card overall in the deck to be able to summon to the field, because it's just a really awesome nostalgic boss monster that Jaden used for the majority of the series. I then play a single copy of Thunder Giant because you can make it, and it can pop monsters on the field, which is really cool by just discarding a card from your hand. So this card is a definite one-of in the deck. I then play a single copy of Sunriser because on Fusion Summon you can actually grab back your copy of your Miracle Fusion, which is a really cool effect. One copy of Grand Merge. Grand Merge is absolutely essential in the deck because it makes your copy of Nebula Neos extremely easy. The way you actually make your copy of Nebula Neos is by using the effect of Grand Merge, because Grand Merge has the ability that if this card destroys a monster by battle, you contribute this card to special summon an Elemental or Fusion monster from your X deck, ignoring its summoning conditions, which is usually going to be your copy of Nebula Neos with just how powerful Nebula Neos is. This card is really, really good as a one-of in the deck, and it's just absolutely insane that you can summon this card off your copy of your Grand Merge. So we then play a single copy of Absolute Zero. Absolute Zero is really easy to summon because it just takes a hero plus a water monster to summon, and if this card leaves the field, then it actually does the ability that you destroy all monsters that your opponent controls, which is really cool. I then play a single copy of Elemental Hero The Shining. Shining is really easy to summon to the field because this card gains 300 attack for each of your banished cards, each of your Elemental Heroes that are banished. And when this card is sent from your field to the graveyard, you can target 2 cards in your banished Elemental Hero monsters and add those targets back to your hand, which is a pretty good effect. I then play a single copy of a Skirt Owl. A Skirt Owl is a really neat card. It's really easy to summon to the field, and it gains 100 attack for each Elemental Hero monster in the grave. One copy of Vision Hero Trinity because it's absolutely massive. It goes up to 5,000 when it's summoned. It can attack and do 3 monsters, which is pretty good to help you OTK. It just requires any 3 hero monsters to summon to the field. Then play a single copy of Masked Hero Acid because you can make it on the field, and it's basically Harpy's Feather Duster for your opponent's spells and traps. And it's really cool to actually combo Mass Change with your copy of Absolute Zero plus this card because it'll actually destroy all the monsters and then all the spells and traps, which is really neat. I then play a single copy of Dark Law because it's just too powerful not to play in the deck, and it's just a really awesome Masked Hero monster. One copy of Infernal Devicer, which is actually a really insane card to make, because if this card is Link Summon, you get to reveal a hero fusion monster in your X deck, and if you do, you get to add 2 of the fusion materials listed on it with different names from your deck to your hand, which is absolutely crazy. Because you reveal cards like Flame Wingman to grab Burstinatrix and Avian. You can reveal cards like Thunder Giant to grab Sparkman and Clayman, which is just really, really cool. Then play a single copy of Wonder Driver because it actually gets polymerization back, which is really good. So that's it for the deck, guys. I hope you did enjoy it. It's a really fun deck to be able to play with. If you guys have never played with Elemental Hero, you definitely should. It's super nostalgic to be able to do. It's just a really cool deck. I love playing around with this deck because of just how nostalgic it is, being able to play the original Elemental Hero monsters, including like Avian, Burstinatrix, Sparkman, Clayman, Bubbleman, and Elemental Hero Neos is just super nostalgic and absolutely amazing. So anyways, guys, that's it for this one. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell there so you can become part of the notification squad, and we'll see you guys in the next video. See you later, guys.